Hi there.
Hello.
Hello, Gary. Do I have your permission to record this Skype interview?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Also, do I have your consent to upload this interview onto a website? The website will have a password and be viewable by my graduate studies associates and other interviewees.
Yes, permission granted.
Okay, thank you. So I'm doing my final project at Northern Arizona University, a Master's of Arts majoring in rhetorical writing and digital media studies. I chose an interdisciplinary focus: the study of the documentary Cowspiracy, its effectiveness as a model for behavior change toward environmental sustainability, and as a media literacy tool. So, question number one was, please tell me about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Gary. I'm a Canadian citizen who is currently traveling the world, teaching English in Vietnam. Spent some time over this past year and a half in New Zealand, Australia, Bali, Singapore. And next I'll be heading to Europe, so very excited about that. Outside of that, just on a personal note, I like to practice yoga, meditation. I am passionate about the environment, friends, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Great. Yes, and I think we've known each other. How long have we known each other?
Since I think
2000?
mid 2001.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I think around April 2001. So we've known each other for almost 15 years.
Oh, wow. And we met in
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver.
And again in Bali, which was great.
And again in Bali, yeah.
So my second question, when did you see Cowspiracy? It was a little while ago, right?
Yeah, I think I was in New Zealand, so it must have been in 2015. Yeah, I'm positive. Yeah,
Okay.
it was early it was early 2015 when I saw it. Yeah.
So not too long ago. What did you think of
No.
the documentary when you saw it?
Well, when I first saw it, I was very taken by the information. I felt it was really like eye-opening. I mean, I've been a vegetarian personally now for 10 years,
Mm.
and I've also been a vegan throughout different times as well. And yeah, I found that information obviously very reaffirming for my own
Mm.
beliefs for being a vegetarian. Yeah, it was really powerful. Yeah, I was pretty moved by that. I mean, I posted on Facebook and encouraged other people to watch it, and it was a friend of mine who recommended that I watch it. Yeah.
Good. At that time, did Cowspiracy, or since then, did the documentary influence your attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, habits in any way?
Yeah, at the time it did. I swore I was going to become a vegan again, and I did for a while, but my old human habits slipped back in. But yeah, like I have to say, after watching it, I definitely felt like it was my moral responsibility as a human being to make a better effort to change my habits, given the environmental impact that the movie portrayed, that the agriculture and cattle industry, all that, have on the planet. I'm very passionate about the earth and its preservation and nature, and also obviously animal welfare and all these things. So I wish I could say there was a permanent change, but I can't. In full disclosure, I have eaten cheese and these kinds of things, but I am clear and staunch on my vegetarianism at the very least.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So you've been teaching now, and I think you're interested in different kinds of education. You mentioned to me. Excuse me. How can this documentary best be used as an educational tool inside or outside the classroom?
Well, I think inside the classroom, it's a great tool, to show to students of all different ages, really. I think it's an important topic that most people can relate to. I do think that it's a big trigger for people. I know when I watched it, even though I don't eat meat, I could see how it could, even used as an educational tool, might serve as a real trigger because people really like meat. And so I think it's something that many people aren't willing to give up. But that being said, the information in the documentary, yeah, I think it would be a powerful learning resource for, in community entities, excuse me, who are trying to, educate on environmental impact and animal welfare. Especially what I found interesting, a lot of stuff I didn't know about, like the ocean and fishing. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about that, right? So many people think, oh, fish don't count or whatever. There's a lot of that, even amongst vegetarians. So I think that in itself, that was educational for me. So I think that could be a real positive educational resource, publicly and within schools.
Yeah. One of my other interviewees said she wasn't really happy with the title because it focuses on beef only, but I think that's a good point. I wonder what title it could have that would really encompass the message. Like you said, it says that there is no such thing as sustainable fishing anymore because of how overfished the oceans already are, and there's so much information in that movie that, like, panacea of environmental impacts, basically.
Yeah, just from a real simple, like, meatspiracy, I don't know. Like, it could be, the truth behind, because I think there's a disconnect sometimes there with, because again, we talk about cows, but there's pigs, and there's chickens, and, there's all kinds of animals that are in these, factories, and, and all this kinds of stuff that are affected by that industry. Yes, the cattle grazing obviously knocks out a ton of rainforest and all that kind of stuff, but then there's just the animal welfare aspect too, that goes with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So those
Anything
were
else?
the questions that I had, unless you have something that you want to add. Maybe, how would you teach environmental issues in the future? I think you have some interesting ideas. Like in your ideal situation.
Yeah, well, if given the situation on the planet today with climate change, it's obviously a hot button issue, no pun intended. It's something that, I even tried as an English second language teacher. We tried teaching about, recycling. I think I shared that with you before. In Bali, we tried teaching the kids about recycling, which presented challenges, but then also we were pleasantly surprised at how some of the kids responded to the lessons. I think it's really important to weave this in to as teachers into whatever we're doing. I think it's a really important thing, more so than a lot of the other subject matter that floats around in the collective mind. I think that showing things in a way that people can relate to, that's impactful. Movies like Cowspiracy, I think it's a bit polarized, it's quite polarized. It's very it wants to push your buttons emotionally, I think, which can work in its favor, but also against, I think, its effectiveness, because I understand the desire to want to, really trigger people's emotions, but then at the same time, we want people to take calm and positive action that doesn't vilify and all this. At least that's my thinking. So
do you have a way to approach that topic in as a way that you're suggesting now?
Yeah.
So if you were to change it, how would you change it?
Pardon?
If you were to do it in the way that you're talking about, how would you do it?
Oh God, that is a good question. I think it's really important to present the facts in a way that doesn't attack anybody for their choices, given whatever they might be. Everybody's at a different state in their life and a different level of awareness, and so to create a safe space for people to share their thoughts and opinions, and to receive the information in a way that doesn't feel like an attack or a judgment, I guess might be a better way to say it. So I think as teachers and demonstrators, because we're demonstrators of the alternative, right? We're living examples of our beliefs, and a lot of that, comes from what the Cowspiracy, shared with the public, whether they're moral, ethical, spiritual, whatever, motivates your choices to be a vegetarian or a vegan. I think it's our responsibility, to be effective role models and whatever, to really show in a loving way, but that doesn't mean it has to be a weak way. It just has to be a way that really is inclusive and non-judgmental. That's my thought. How we go about doing that, I think, is a work in progress, and it's going to be trial and error. And I've been that angry born again vegetarian who's said this is the way, you have to eat like this, and then I've learned that actually pushes people further away. So I think that demonstration, compassion, just basic human decency. You know what I mean? The same decency we want to show to these animals, we show to our brothers and sisters who are trying to find their way,
You also talked about a nature school that someday you want to make. Does that fit in with this picture?
Yeah, because my dream is is to have a holistic school that basically helps to recreate a vision of paradise. And I know that might have a different meaning to each person, but to me, that's a place where animals, people, and plants, everybody lives in harmony. There's this field of harmlessness where everybody's safe just to be in a space of love, really, where animals don't have to worry about being killed, or and children are taught to appreciate nature, which includes the respect and honoring of animals and plants and all of that. I think it's a big part of it.
So is this school, in doing my research, I know that it sounds a little bit similar to me to Julia Cameron's school. James Cameron, the director of Avatar and what else? Titanic, right? His wife designed a school that sounds a little similar to that. The children eat a plant-based menu, and they learn. They do a lot of project-based learning. They spend a lot of time in nature. They learn gardening, and are those the activities you mean? Or other activities?
Very much like that. There's already wonderful examples in the world of what I'd like to help co-create. Absolutely. I haven't come across Julia's, but there's amazing. I sent you that documentary for the school in Russia that and there's Rudolf Steiner schools. I don't know if Rudolf Steiner schools are the Waldorf schools are vegetarian or vegan, but they also really cater to the holistic learning of children. But there's some beautiful examples out there, but teaching children about renewable agricultural permaculture, meditation, yoga, along with academics and all that stuff too, and creativity playing a big part.
Yeah, I think those are really great alternatives to consider for younger students, going up to whatever age.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just being a new teacher at this time, teaching teenagers, I can just see what the value could be of getting children when they're a bit younger, to really instill those core values of respect for people, plants, nature, what have you, right? I think that would make a large difference.
And I've seen programs for also troubled teens learning wilderness skills and seeing really good changes in their attitudes and self-esteem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought about that too. It was something that crossed my mind as a possibility, having, this is totally just something from my personal story, but I was in foster care growing up, and I thought about all those foster kids who get kind of lost in the system and stuff like that, and how great it would be for them to have a safe place to call their home that's in nature, in a forest school where they're being empowered to be the amazing people that they're capable of being, and to feel that connection and that sense of safety and love and everything. So that's in my heart too. I don't know if that will ever transpire, but you never know.
Well, if it does, I look forward to visiting your forest school.
Yeah. You'll be a substitute teacher.
Yeah, flying around. What do I get to teach?
I'm not sure. That's up to you. You
okay.
can come in and make your own lessons,
I'll have to think about it. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, thank you for taking the time to thoughtfully answer all of my questions, and I think we're done for now.
Cool. Well, it's my pleasure, and I hope you get an A+.
Well, I'm happy to be doing this project, and it would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye, love.
Bye.